Let's talk about exponents. And first of all, what is an exponent? Suppose I have 3 raised to the power of 2 or x raised to the power of 3. An exponent, and you might hear the word power, you might hear the word index, exponent, power, index, same thing. What does this mean? 3 raised to the power of 2, 3 squared, is 3 times itself twice. So an exponent is how many times you multiply a number by itself. You know, x raised to the power of 3, x cubed, x times x times x, that's what it means. And in this case, 3 is called the base, x is called the base. So the base is the number that you're raising to an exponent, and then of course 2 is an exponent, 3 is an exponent. So that's the gist of it, but let's dive a little more into this. 3 raised to the power of 1. Anything to the 1 is just the number itself. So 3 to the 1 is 3. 3 raised to the power of 2, 3 squared. So we said 3 times 3, so of course that's 9. 3 raised to the power of 3, 3 cubed as you would say. 3 times itself 3 times, so that's 9 times 3, that's 27. How about 3 to the 0? 3 to the 0 is 1. Anything to the 0 is 1. You know, 1/3 to the 0 is 1. Even negative 1/3. Negative 1/3 to the 0 is 1. 0 to the 0 doesn't exist, but you would never see that on a test. But anything else to the 0 is just 1. So let me erase that. How about 3 to the negative 1? If you see the negative sign, write 1 over. It's 1 over 3 to the positive 1, or just 1 over 3. Here, I'll erase the 1. So it's just 1 over 3. 3 to the negative 2 is 1 over 3 to the positive 2. It's 1 over 9. It's 1/9. So negative exponent doesn't make the number negative. It doesn't make the result negative. It just means you're creating a fraction. That's what it means. And, you know, 3 to the negative 2 is what? It's the reciprocal of 3 to the positive 2. It's the flipped over version. It's not 9, rather it's 1 over 9. Okay. How about raising 10 to an exponent? So 10 to the 1, of course, is just 10. 10 raised to the power of 2, 10 squared is 100. 10 cubed, 10 raised to the power of 3 is 1,000. So when you raise 10 to an exponent, the exponent represents the number of zeros that follow the number 1. So 10 to the 1, 1 followed by 1 0. 10 squared, 2 zeros, 1,000, 3 zeros. How about 10 to the 0? Well, we said before, anything to the 0 is 1. So 10 to the 0 is what? It's a 1 followed by 0 zeros, no zeros at all. How about 10 to the negative 1? That's 1 over 10 to the positive 1, 1 over 10, 10 to the negative 2, 1 over 10 to the positive 2, 1 over 10 squared, and that, of course, is 1 over 100. So let's generalize all of this. X to the 0 is 1, x to the 1 is x itself, x squared is x times x, okay? X to the negative 1, 1 over x to the positive 1, 1 over x, x to the negative 2, 1 over x to the positive 2, 1 over x squared, and here again, x to the negative 2 is the reciprocal, the flipped over version, the reciprocal of x to the positive 2. And one last thing before we move on, how about raising the number 1 to an exponent? 1 to the 0 is 1, 1 to the 1 is 1, 1 squared is 1. How about 1 to the negative 1? It's 1 over 1, so that is also 1. 1 to the negative 2 is 1. So 1 raised to any exponent is just 1.